What's up everyone? Welcome back to another Figma review. And this one has been a long time coming. Figma number 227, Saber 2.0. Delayed month after month after month, it's finally here. Through the window in the front of the box, there is Saber herself, two alternate faces, an alternate hair section, as well as her two swords, Caliburn and Excalibur. The picture on the top, same one down here on the bottom, the left hand side and the right hand side. And as always, on the back of the box, pictures of the figure in action. And as always, let's bust this thing open and see what we've got. The usual DI stage section in there, in the same color as the box. And now into the clear inner packaging. So right here, same as what we saw through the window. Figure, alternate faces and hairpiece, Caliburn and Excalibur. And in here on the rear of the box is the base, stand, and Figma bag. Now that's unusual. Also in this section are the alternate hands. Now this is very strange. I've seen a lot of Figma and this is the first time I've seen one packaged like this. And also, as you can see, the instructions are just slid in here between these two sections. Also very unusual. And these are the older style instructions that list the parts and have the instructions in here in Japanese only. So no English on here like the last couple of releases, just in Japanese. It looks like they chose this design choice just so they could display the two swords through the window in the front of the box, as there is just some empty space down here where those things would usually be stored. But anyway, onto what's important. And of course, that's the figure itself. Wow, can you believe it? I actually insta-broke the base. Right out of the packaging, and I broke it. That is the first time that has ever happened to me. I don't know, maybe I can find another Figma around here somewhere to take the base off. I don't know, maybe one or two. I think I have a couple left around here somewhere. I'm not sure. Can't seem to find any. This one will do. Come here, Cobra. Give me your base. Well, that's kind of interesting. The bases are two slightly different colors. This one's kind of bluish, and this one isn't. Well, that's pretty annoying. Let's get back to it anyway. So here is Saber 2.0 out of the box. And it looks just as good as I expected it to. So there will be a lot of small detail to take a look at here. At first glance, it does look awesome. There are a lot of different colors on here. We've got matte blue, matte white, matte black, dark blue on the detailing, and of course we've got that awesome metallic silver, as well as metallic gold trim. The ribbon in her hair is in a slightly different shade of matte blue than the rest of her outfit, and of course her blonde hair in a matte orangey yellow. Like always on a Figma, those eyes are so striking and look epic. The fine detail is sharp and clear. As usual, the default face isn't the most exciting, but we do have two more to look forward to, and that shouting face looks amazing. The sculpt and paint there of the mouth just looks so good. The standard hair section looks good. Not great. It really is that alternate one that I'm really looking forward to seeing. But the back section of the hair just looks perfect. Saber's very intricate costume has been superbly recreated here. Let's move in for a closer look. The breastplate looking fantastic with that very intricate design, and that has been flawlessly executed. Not a single rough line or any paint out of place anywhere. The metallic silver looks fantastic, and we've got a gloss black outline around there that looks great as well. And there's the back section of the upper body armor, also looking excellent. The gold trim running down from the neck section and across and down the shoulder. Some nice cloth folds there on the arm, and there is her gauntlet with some very nice rivet and plate detail. And this is very interesting and something I never actually noticed with Saber's character design. With her right hand gauntlet, all the fingers are separated, but with the left hand one, only the index is separated, the other three are connected. Just below that then, there's this waist section in matte black. The lace and grommet detail is amazing considering it is absolutely tiny. But I did notice this small little bit of paint transfer here. This may have been here the whole time, or it may have just happened when I took it out of the box, but it might be good to note that the paint may transfer here and to be careful. The dress or skirt section down here does look absolutely fantastic. Some nice fold detail on the front, more of that matte blue, metallic gold, and metallic silver. The paintwork here for the most part is very clean. A couple of rough lines here and there, but there is a fairly large paint error on mine right here. This is at the bottom, so it isn't very noticeable from most angles, but it is there. And of course that awesome skirting armor in metallic silver. Underneath the skirt section is some pants in the same matte white as we have out here on the trim. And finally down to the boots, also in that metallic silver, and they look excellent as well. So here's Saber 2.0 with everything that she comes with. So from left to right, what we got here is the alternate hair part, Caliburn as well as its scabbard. On the right we have Excalibur as well as its scabbard, 2 alternate faces, a rack of 7 alternate hands, and finally the Figma joint. So first up here we've got Excalibur. The majority of this is painted in a metallic gold color. Down here we have a metallic copper on the end, gloss black. This design on the scabbard is executed perfectly. It's absolutely perfect, not a line out of place, and looks fantastic. The sword itself can come out of the scabbard, the blade in that same awesome metallic silver, some detail in gloss black here, and we've got some gloss dark blue, as well as gold up here on the hilt. And there's a bit of screw up on the handle as well. Next up is Caliburn, and this is much more ornate than Excalibur. As you can see, the scabbard there is extremely detailed. Again here in that dark blue, metallic gold, but on here we've got some red here and here, some gloss brown around this section. Just like the scabbard, the blade itself is also very detailed. Some nice fine detail in blue at the tip of the sword. All along the blade in the center is this gold section, some nice fine detail right there, and the hilt, just like the scabbard, is awesomely detailed. Next onto the rack of alternate hands. And like I mentioned before, all the right hands of the figures separated, whereas all the left hands have these 3 fingers connected. It's really interesting to see asymmetrical hands on a Figma. As for alternate right hands, you've got a holding hand, this open palmed, this relaxed open palmed hand, and this widespread open palmed hand. As for left hands, we have a pointing hand, another holding hand, a widespread open palmed hand, and another relaxed hand here, but this time with this little divot towards the palm. And what this is actually for is to do that, so it can rest on top of the sword and hold it in place. Basically, to pull off this pose. So as for faces, we have the default face, a blushing face, and this battle cry face. That's the battle cry face with the normal hair part, and there's the awesome dynamic flowing hair part. So not a crazy amount of accessories in here, but what more could you ask for? So now moving on to articulation, and as always from the head down. Articulation at the neck, and there's the head all the way down to the front, all the way towards the back, and that's quite the look up. Nice range of motion there. The head can rotate all the way around, like so, and there's the tilt side to side, and that is impressive. They must have totally redesigned the neck joint. Let's pop off her face and have a look. So this looks pretty much the same as Miku 2.0, which is your standard Figma joint here, but there is a ball joint in at the back of the head as well to give it that extra motion. That's pretty cool. Her hair on the back here can rotate, and that can go all the way around. So that can be moved to give the figure a sense of movement in a dynamic pose. Now at the shoulder, and there's all the way up, so it's pretty much perpendicular to the ground there. This shoulder piece is getting in the way a little bit. This shoulder section isn't actually attached to the arm, so that does move around independently. Rotation at the shoulder, and that can spin all the way around. As you can see in there, it's double jointed, a ball joint in here at the torso, and there's the bendy part of the joint right there. The bend at the elbow, that's quite a decent bend. Also, there is a little bit of wiggle inside here, and that can go all the way around like that. The wrist in here is the new type of Figma joint, so that does give you a lot of movement options. A bend, rotate, spin, but that is a bit blocked by this rear section here of the gauntlet. We also have a joint in here at the torso, which is really cleverly disguised between the plates of the armor. That looks really good. So as you can see, we've got a bit of side-to-side crunch at that joint. We have a little bit of forward and back movement there as well. But combined with the joint down here at the waist, there is a decent crunch to the front and some movement to the back there as well. So that is pretty good. This could be really easy to miss. I almost missed it here. But there is another joint in underneath the breastplate. So as you can see, that can move down and up like that. So that does give you that extra forward crunch there, so that is even better than I initially thought. Down a little bit further, and we've got some joints here, so these can flip up and down. There's also some forward and back movement there as well. That is fantastic. This under section also can move up and down and back and forward as well. This is impressive, and this can move out quite a bit. And yet another joint in here, so that can also move up. So all these parts here can move independently. That is fantastic. I am well impressed by that. Next joint here at the waist, you can get some side-to-side wiggle there, as well as a little bit and forward and back. It's going to be a little bit difficult to check the full range of motion at the hip joints, as there's a whole lot going on around here. So let's see what I can do. So there it is, up and out to the side, all the way up to the front, and that is a fantastic kick. out to the back now, and it is hard to fully test that because of all these parts in the way. Next, the bend here at the knee, and just a little beyond 90 degrees there. Next, the ankle. So there's it all the way up, all the way down. That's pretty good. Got some rotation here as well as some side to side tilt. And lastly, the toes can bend. So contrary to what you'd initially think about a figure with so much skirt parts and everything, Saber is a posing machine. So how about quality? Well, the quality is beyond fantastic here. This is probably the single best designed Figma I have ever seen. To take a figure that has so much armor and skirt parts and all this going on down here and give it such posability, making all these parts down here independently movable, this is something else. Max Factory have really outdone themselves here. However, there are a couple of annoying little factors that do bring the overall quality down that little bit. With such a detailed figure, it is expected to see a couple of little paint errors here and there. But this one down here is pretty nasty. This is very low, so it is hard to see from most angles, but sometimes just knowing it's there is irritating. More than likely, it's just an isolated error and won't be on yours when you get it. But I just thought I'd point it out. But what is probably the biggest issue here is the joint at the waist. The majority of the joints are all strong, but this one here is on the loose side. It feels like it's mainly the top one here, but the lower one is a little bit loose too. And it is loose to the point where it won't be able to hold some poses. And this is a real shame considering just how posable this figure is. As you can see, it can support the upper body, but not really the lower body down here. So this may slip out of some poses, especially when equipped with the sword. So that is a disappointment. So that is it for my review of the Figma Saber 2.0. I know I've been saying it over and over again, but this Figma is fantastic. It really is that good. The articulation here is the best I've ever seen in a figure with this many layers and parts and armor pieces. Besides that little bit I showed you, the paint and detailing on this figure is spectacular. This really is a master crafted posable figure. If you are a Fate Stay Night fan, you owe it to yourself to grab yourself this figure as soon as you can. What can I say? It absolutely rocks. So thanks for watching, and as always, make sure to come back for more Figma reviews. See you next time.